Hey! Yeah, Mom, isn't gonna be part of this one. She wasn't feeling very well. She didn't want to, complain about her, stomach issues in the middle of this. So she told me to do this by myself, and so I will. Anyway, I went to see, today, because I'm gonna be putting this up the same day that I film it. But today I went and saw The Incredibles 2, now in theaters. And after 15 years, well, they say 14, I guess in technical, if you want to be completely true to the dates, it's 14, but it's more fun to say 15 because of a line I'll get to. But 15 years, we finally have a second Incredibles movie. And to quote, and to get to the line I was talking about, to quote Syndrome from the first movie, "You're too late. 15 years too late." I know, it's fine. It's fine. It was a great movie. I loved it. Mom seemed to really enjoy herself. Didn't know she was feeling bad when she saw it, when I took her to see it today, but apparently, she liked it enough to not complain during the movie or even after. I didn't know till we got home. So, there's a ringing endorsement. But yeah, it's darker than the first one, but still so family related, except once or twice the language gets a little weird. It's like a couple times in the movie I hear the word crap. And that actually shocked me a little bit, but from a Disney Pixar work that's supposed to be pointed towards kids, but that's okay. It's just, they can. It's just, I was surprised by that. Right off the bat, they did a little fanfare right before the movie where the actors were talking about, how long it took, how much work they put into it to make this happen. And it's a little amusing to me. They said, "And now, without further ado, The Incredibles 2. And then right after that, it goes into a Pixar short. Yeah, one of their little artsy short films. That's an ado. That's not going right into... I thought it was slightly funny. I wasn't really upset because it was a Pixar short film. It was good. That was good too. I recommend that. It was a fun movie. It was fun and artistic. It had the Pixar thing going on. You know, it's kind of a formula. But it's like, now without further ado, this! And then they showed something completely different. It's like, that isn't a do. So, but, I just found it funny, I'm sorry. But, the movie itself, it definitely, if you didn't already know, and you probably should, even though I'm not sure how well it made it clear in the first movie, but the Incredibles universe takes place in an alternate past. It's like the 60s or 70s. Something along those lines. And that actually plays in to stuff that happens in this new movie, in The Incredibles 2. Because they talk about new math, when they start introducing algebra and things like that. Which, of course, messed with a lot of parents, and it was messing with Mr. Incredible. And it's like, from the trailers, he did say, why would you change math? Math is math! And, yeah, there was a lot of confusion back then. Um, yeah, so it's set in that little time period, and that's important. It's important to remember that because in the first Incredibles, and in this new one, the main villain is not a super, but a tech-based super genius. Both times, tech-based super geniuses with no actual superpowers. That's important because it's important to note that this was based off of the 60s and 70s. Because in comic books at the time, most of the supervillains were mad scientist tech geniuses. Like Lex Luthor used to be basically a mad super genius before they fleshed out his character in later years. But he basically was just a tech, just basically a mad scientist that did, experiment stuff. And so far it seems that in the Incredibles universe, so far, everyone with actual superpowers is heroic. And I can get behind that. I mean, inevitably, you'll have the revolution of, like, the 70s. If they keep making these movies, they'll have the revolution of the 70s and 80s, particularly the 80s, where powered villains will start showing up. Some of these supers will be bad. And, but if you ever wanted to watch a movie where a baby fights a raccoon, this is the movie for you. Because there is a brilliant fight scene between Jack, the baby of the Incredibles family, and a raccoon. Not a superpowered raccoon, a raccoon. And it's pretty much how they figure out that Jack has superpowers. And it was funny. I thought it was nice. I have to say that I almost didn't call the twist. Actually, no, I didn't call the twist. I thought the person I thought was the villain the entire time turned out to be wrong. But I was close. And I'll say no more because I try to avoid spoilers with this sort of thing. The villain, tech-based, it had an interesting name, Screenslaver. And using Screenslaver's technology, this villain could hypnotize anybody through any screen, through any electronic screen, any television, any. They got into the system, and then just put up one of their hypnosis screens, and where people are under their control. And it's a good villain when people don't trust other people. It's a good it helped that whole sort of anagram or analogy. A surprising lack of Edna Mode. She's in there, but I think we could have used a little bit more of her, but we had enough, I guess. I just happen to love the character, darling. Darling, you're Elastigirl. You've got to pull yourself together. That was the first movie. No. But anyway, get used to that voice. My Edna Mode voice, because I am going to be using my Edna Mode voice for Luca in Chrono Triggered. That'll be debuting next month. So get used to that, because I basically turned Luca into Edna Mode. And that's, for the most part, the joke with her character. But anyway, enough about that. Back to The Incredibles. I liked it. Mom seemed to like it. Don't wait to the end hoping for a stinger. If you're going to watch all the through the credits, that's fine. But don't expect something at the end. There's not something at the end. I only say this because I saw people who were waiting till the end specifically to see a stinger. I stayed till the end because if I'm going to pay for a movie, I'm going to watch all of the movie. And also, let's give respect to the people who worked hard on this by at least seeing their name. And stingers are just a bonus, if that. But, the other people who are actually hoping for one, and of course, they'd leave disappointed, or at least a little bit disappointed, that there wasn't one. Because they waited in the theater for one. But, so I'm going to tell you now, there's not a stinger. Don't stay. Unless you want to stay for the obvious reasons. I think that lots of new heroes I kind of enjoyed. Callbacks to, flashbacks and stuff that built on the whole world. I enjoyed it. A lot of nice world building, a lot of good fun. I do recommend it. Go ahead and see it if you want. It's a Pixar movie, which usually means good. It's the Incredibles sequel, so that's probably meant good anyway. And it is. I wasn't disappointed. Like I said, it does have a little bit more of a darker, more mature veneer. It's very heavy, a lot heavier on the action than it was. And that's not a bad thing. It really isn't. I actually enjoyed it a lot, but so yeah, I don't do rating systems, but if I would, it'd probably be pretty darn good. Don't do perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect movie. But anyway, I can't say. I'm sure it has its faults. I just can't think of any right away, and that's good. But yes, that's the phone. But so we're gonna just leave it here. And sorry about the phone. It's okay. But I'm just gonna leave it here. And go ahead and see it. And until my next one, stay tuned.